Hi, it's Jennifer here today. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to take a fun look into the world of Catholic book reselling. As you know, Kate and I are volunteer church librarians, and part of our job is to screen the big bins of Catholic books that have been donated to see if the library wants to keep them or donate them or sell them. So recently we took a look at the statistics, what books sell and what books don't. So it's kind of interesting to see what is the modern Catholic looking to buy? What are you guys out there looking for to read? We're going to look at all of that today. So let's get started. Okay, so right up front, I just want to say that when we resell a book that has been donated, all of that money goes right back into the library. We buy new Catholic books for the library, or we replace books that are old and worn out, or sometimes we will buy a book that a parishioner has requested. So we sell the books on Amazon and Facebook, and if you have bought books from us in the past, thank you very much, because again, that money is going right back into the library. So I thought we would start with the books that are very popular. These books we're always happy to see in the donation bins because we know they will sell quickly and they will go to good homes, which is what we ultimately want. So looking over the past 3 or 4 years of book sales, there's definitely one Catholic author who is the clear winner. His books are so popular. You guys out there want to read what he is writing. You're finding it very helpful, and that is Scott Hahn. No surprise, right? Okay, especially these two books, Hail Holy Queen and The Lamb's Supper. You guys love these two. As soon as we post them for sale, they get sold. So pat yourself on the back, Scott Hahn, because you're definitely helping out Catholics everywhere. They love to read what you're writing. In second place is definitely Dr. Brent Petrie. Whatever he writes, you guys love, you want to buy, you want to read it, especially books like Jesus and the Jewish Roots of the Eucharist or Jesus and the Jewish Roots of Mary. Those are highly, highly sought after. Books by Pope Benedict XVI, those always resell really well for us. You guys love him. I'm with you there because I also love him. I love to read what he has written. His books, always, always popular. Also, honorable mention to Mike Aquilina because his books are also in high demand. Books like Faith of Our Fathers and then his other book, Mass of the Early Christians, those always resell really well for our library. You guys really enjoy his books. Okay, so now let's look at some of the Catholic female authors who are hugely popular. Of course, Saint Therese, Story of a Soul. There are certain translations of her books that just come in the door and out the door the same day. They are so popular. Also, we have, the two mothers, Mother Angelica and Mother Teresa. You guys love to buy their books and read them, highly popular. And then pretty much anything at all by Saint Teresa of Avila, we're going to sell that. You guys buy it in a heartbeat. And then this book, Having a Merry Heart in a Martha World, that is very, very popular with the Catholic ladies out there. Anytime we get a copy of this, it sells really, really quickly. In the world of children's books, our most popular books are definitely anything by Tommy DePaula. He wrote so many wonderful Catholic picture books about the saints and just about the Catholic Church in general. These are highly sought after by Catholic homeschoolers in particular. If you've been around our channel, you know that we're huge fans of Tommy DePaula, so we're always really excited when we see his books show up as donations. Also, these two books, The Squire and the Scroll and then The Princess and the Kiss, are very popular by Jenny Bishop. These deal with the topics of keeping yourself pure, about purity, and they're highly sought after again by Catholic homeschoolers. It's really hard to address the topic of purity with your younger kids, and these picture books do a really good job. And then last but not least, of course, C.S. Lewis, classic, right? We do get a fair amount of his books donated, and we have most of them in the library, so these sell really quickly. Now we're going to take a look at the books that I call moderate sellers. They could go either way. Sometimes they sell really well, and then sometimes they just sit around for weeks and weeks. You guys are kind of on the fence Sometimes you want them, sometimes you don't. So the first author in that category is surprisingly Fulton Sheen, which I don't really get because, I think he's a classic author, but you guys out there, sometimes you like him, sometimes you don't. For instance, recently we had a really nice vintage hard copy of The Life of Christ, and we put it up for sale and nobody wanted it. It just sat and sat. We had it priced really well. In fact, it was probably even a bargain, but finally someone came along and bought it, but it did take a really long time. Another author that falls into that category is John Paul II, which again, I don't get. The only thing I can think of is that his books are just out there. He's so popular that there are so many copies out there that you can find them at thrift stores. We've seen them at yard sales. The public library has them. So if someone is looking to read a copy of his work, you don't necessarily need to buy a copy. There are ways to get them for free. Another really moderate seller for us, it could go either way, is the Catechism of the Catholic Church. We do have a lot of those donated to our library, and we always put them up for sale because we know some of you out there are always looking for nice used copies, especially with Father Mike's Catechism in a Year. Sometimes when we put those up for sale, they sell as fast as we can list them. And then sometimes we put them up for sale and no one wants them. And then they just hang around and we'll wind up with 5 or 6 copies that, nobody wants them. What do we do with them? Okay, and last in the category of moderate sellers, anything from Catholic Answers. The authors over there, Trent Horn, Jimmy Akin, Tim Staples, those books may or may not sell. Like The Early Church was a Catholic Church, or Counterfeit Christ by Trent Horn. We don't get a lot of these books donated to the library, so maybe people are hanging on to them. But then when we do post them for sale, they may or may not sell. I'm always surprised because I enjoy these authors a lot. I think the one exception to that might be the book Behold Your Mother. That one usually sells really well. Other than that, though, all bets are off. We don't know if the Catholic Answers books will sell or not. And then finally, let's take a look at the Catholic books that are just really hard for us to resell. I mean, this is our experience. If you're a Catholic book reseller, your mileage may definitely vary, but this is how it goes for us. So the first author in that category, it's really hard for me to say this, but we cannot sell books by Bishop Barron. They just don't sell. You guys just don't want them. The one exception to that is his book Catholicism. That one is a moderate seller. Sometimes it sells, sometimes it doesn't. However, most books that are by Bishop Barron, they just don't sell, including this one, Letter to a Suffering Church. I think in 4 years of doing this resale, I've only been able to sell 1 copy of this book. I don't know if it's because there's such a glut of them out there that people aren't looking to buy used copies, or maybe because, it's just like not a very happy topic. But there you go. It's just a fact in our neck of the woods that Bishop Barron is a tough resell. Books about Medjugorje, also very hard to resell. Here's one, A Child Shall Lead Them by Wayne Wiebel. I don't think we've ever sold a copy of this book, and we get them donated all the time. Here's one in beautiful, nice new condition if you're looking for one. I think that is because Medjugorje is not an approved apparition, and you do have to be so careful about what you read and believe about those non-approved apparitions. In any case, our reality is that books like this just don't sell. Another author that's really hard for us to sell is George Weigel. For instance, this book, Letters to a Young Catholic, I don't think we've ever sold a copy of this book. And here it is, a nice hardcover in really good condition. I don't know much about him as an author. I haven't read much of his work, but I do know that his books are just a tough resell. And then again, this is hard to say, but books by Father Michael Gately, we have a really hard time reselling. 33 Days to Morning Glory. This is a great book. Maybe the market is saturated. Maybe all of you guys who want one already have one. But when we put these up for sale, they just don't move. And we wind up just giving them away. And that's okay too, but it always surprises me that they just don't sell. Books by Father Casey Cole also we cannot resell them. We have his 2 books donated fairly often to the library, Let Go and Called. Father Casey has a YouTube channel called Breaking in the Habit. So I always thought like, oh, he's really popular on YouTube. His books will sell really well. But you guys don't want them. I guess you like him on YouTube, but you don't really care what he has to say in his book. So anyway, another fact for us is that we can't resell his books. Daily devotional books like The Year with St. Joseph or A Year with the Saints, when there's a different reading for every day, those tend to not resell really well for us. And then last in this category would be books by Matthew Kelly and Dynamic Catholic, which is always surprising to me because I enjoy a lot of the books from Dynamic Catholic. For instance, this one, Rediscover the Saints, is one of my favorite Matthew Kelly books. So they just don't sell for us, and we get a ton of them donated to the church library. And so I was thinking about it today, and I thought, Dynamic Catholic is such a generous company. They practically give their books away already. So there are a ton of them out there, and we don't even try to resell them anymore. We just give them away. Like, anyone who wants one can have a Dynamic Catholic book from our library. Okay, so that's a look at what you guys are interested in buying and reading as far as like more modern Catholic authors. We also do get a lot of vintage Catholic books donated to the library, but honestly, that's a whole different ball game. That would have to be a whole separate video. So anyway, I thought this was an interesting topic. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.